Hey guys, this is Manish. I am focusing on product management videos, specifically for helping all the people out there. Number one, people who are switching their jobs from any fields like software engineering or sales, operations to product management. Will be bringing some quality content out. You can give your feedback in the below channel, and by commenting, liking, disliking, whatever you want to do, so that I know some feedback from you guys. The kind of structure I'm looking for in this kind of videos will be somebody will be asking me questions, or I will be asking someone question. We each other will be criticizing each other, giving constructive feedback, and then from there you can get learning that these kind of questions and these kind of feedback and these are some of the mistakes that can be avoided in your interview. So let's go over it and see how it goes. Thank you.
How how would you design a product to recreate the benefits of being in an office while you're working from home?
Okay, so the question is, how would I design a product to recreate the benefit of being in office by working at home, correct? Cool. I think I understand the question, but I have some few clarifying questions. So first thing is, who are we? Are we Google or are we some company? Can I assume anything?
Let's assume that we are Google. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Google is planning to build a software to help its employees to have the same culture, same environment that they used to have back in the office, correct?
But specifically focus on the benefits, and you also just described it as software. I'm not specifying it has to be software.
Yeah, it can be hardware or software, that's fine. uh, Another thing which I'm focusing on, why are we doing this? Are we planning to sell this particular product or just helping our employees, or are we planning to like launch it for our customers also?
Let's say that we both see the market potential and the internal potential for such a tool.
Okay. Any timelines in perspective, as in are we thinking about long term, short term, 6 months, 5 years?
Let's say that we would like to have it out in the market within a 2-year horizon.
Got it. 2 years. Sounds good. I think I have all the information with me. So now, how I would like to talk about this particular problem is I will talk about the goals. We'll talk about some of the user segments, and then we'll talk about some of their user journey and the pain points. We'll talk about some of the solution, and if the time permits, we'll talk about some of the risk associated with my solution and metrics to measure the success. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Thinking from the Google perspective, goal for Google, like what is a mission statement for Google? To organize information and make it easily accessible to for everyone. And by innovating, by like launching different product lines, they actually impact lot of billions of people and make their life better. And I think by designing this particular product, I can clearly see the potential for Google to impact billions of lives. So I think the goal for us should be initially to adoption, to get more users to our platform and start using it. So that's what I'm focusing on. And the final goal is we can sell it, we can monetize it, but initial, as this is a new product, we are designing it first time, so we want to see what is adoption looks like in the market. Does that sound good?
That makes sense. Just a quick question on that. How would you quantify that?
Adoption, yeah, I can quantify that by number of people using it, and number of number of units sold. um, so number of unit sold and number of people using it. When I say using it, amount of time spent per day, as in like what is the number of hours spent per day, per week, per month. That's These are two metrics. I will talk about some more metrics in my structure ahead. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Cool. Thinking from the adoption and thinking about the mission goal, I would like to talk about some of the users who I'm thinking who will be using this product. So just give me a few seconds to think about it.
Okay.
Three users. The number one user is internal employees, people who belongs to Google, and Google wants to first test this particular product for the internal employees because it's clearly benefiting the internal employees, of course. And then second is external customers, people who are customers, B2C customers, B2B customers. They can be anyone, but all the external customers which we can focus for monetization. And third is developers, like we can also focus on developers. So what I'm thinking is external developers can consume those software or hardware, whatever product I'm designing, and they can integrate and develop their own software and hardware. So all the developer community out there. Does that sound good?
Makes sense to me.
So for the first release, thinking from the MVP perspective, minimal viable product, I'm thinking to focus on internal employees because those are some of the people who are very near and dear to us. We have to focus and enhance the life of make it better for internal employees first, and then get the feedback from them, finally consume that feedback, put that into a roadmap, and then launch it for external audience. That's what always happens in Google whenever they launch a product like Pixel or any hardware, any software. Internal people test it, and then they launch it for broader audience. So I think that's a right strategy to go. So I would like to focus on internal employees. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Cool. Let's talk about some of the user journey and the pain points. Just give me a second to think about it. Yeah, so I have some user journey and the pain points listed. So let me talk about the first user journey, as in what happens in the life of a employee. So if I'm a Google employee, I go to my office, I park my car in the morning, I go inside the building. I am a product manager, so my calendar is full of meetings. So I go to those physical walls meeting where my peers are sitting. So the problem is, while working from home, it's difficult to interact and engage with my audience because there's no physical wall. I'm not like facing a person one on one. So that's number one. Number one is less engagement right now because there's no personal interaction. It's all video, like you and me are talking right now. Second, what is the another user journey which I'm thinking is when you are interacting with someone in the physical environment in the office, you usually use whiteboard to brainstorm ideas in front of someone. And instead right now what we how do we whiteboard? We usually use a iPad, or we usually use the notes in the Google Meet. That's not that like what I say effective. So no whiteboarding. That's what I can think of. Another thing which I can think of is thinking from like stepping into the shoes of the user. Some of the soft skills, like while you are having lunch with you usually have lunch with your peers to build relationships with people and with your peers and to build more friends. So there's no eating lunch together right now. It's all online. You can't meet with someone. There's gaming sessions, there's like fitness sessions which you can personally engage with your fitness in the campus. That's all gone. It's all online. That's all difficult right now. So those are some of the things which I'm thinking are some of the problems. uh, do you have any questions so far?
Just to clarify, so you know, we've sort of narrowed it down to thinking about Google employees.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you're a PM, you have a lot of meetings. I
Mm-hmm.
guess for the sake of this design question, are you specifically focused on your PM as the area of focus, or are you thinking about just any type of employee at Google?
Yeah,
Because I can
anytime.
imagine for a designer might be different than say a PM.
Yeah, I'm focusing on any type of employee because the meeting aspect is the same for everyone. Like if it's a software engineer or a marketing or sales, everyone has to go for a meeting in a physical room. So that is all impacted. So I'm just taking one example that a 30-year-old man, he's a PM or a software engineer, doesn't matter, but a lot of meetings and lot of personal interaction, that is all impacted. So engagement is highly impacted, so that's what I'm talking about.
Got it. Okay.
Also, yeah, sometimes PM or software engineers, or actually all the employees, average, they have to travel also to meet their customers. I'm thinking that that is also impacted. So traveling part is impacted as well. So when you travel, you meet someone personally. But so again, to summarize, there's no personal interaction, less engagement, uh, there's no whiteboarding, you can't socialize with someone by eating lunch personally, and questions.
Makes sense. Let's move forward.
Yeah, I think all these pain points make sense, but for our initial release, just let me pick some important ones, which so impact meaning how many people are getting impact if we build, if for that particular pain point, and what is the frequency of someone uh, encountering or facing that particular pain point, like whether they face every day or every week or something like that. So thinking from uh, meetings and stuff, there's less engagement. I think that is very important, that happens in the life of everyone, so I would like to focus on that. That is number one. Whiteboarding, that is also very important. Software engineers, PM, sales, they always whiteboard and explain stuff. That is number two. Eating lunch and enjoying any hobbies, and travel. I don't want to focus on travel because that is secondary, and the ultimate goal is to engage with someone. So we are focusing on that in the top pain points. Engage like lunch, activities, and gaming. I think I would like to focus on the gaming and the personal interaction, because soft skills are also very important to build a relationship. And the overall concept and the goal for this particular product is adoption. Um, I know we are, if we are engaging with the audience for office need, that is good, but we should also think about some soft skills. If both are there, then our product will be a selling cake. So that's what I'm focusing on. So three pain points I would like to build my solution on. Uh, More physical interaction. Second, solving the problem of whiteboarding. Third, solving the problem of personal, the games, and you can do personal games as well as some fitness activities. So those are three pain points.
Okay.
So I would like to talk about some of the solutions. So just give me a second to think about it.
Actually, one thing I would like to do, can we focus our solutioning on one of those three?
Okay, we can do that. So the most important among all these three is the personal interaction, where you are not able to interact physically with someone. So that is the most important. And if we have to prioritize among these three, that is the bare minimum. We should do it. So again, it's focusing on impact and frequency because everybody faces that problem. So I would like to solve that problem first.
Let's do that.
Cool. So let me talk about some of the solutions. Just give me a second. So yeah, I have three, four solutions. So number one is mixed reality glasses. So mixed reality glasses will be a wearable technology. A person will be wearing a glass, and that glass will have a virtual reality as well as augmented reality built in all together. So think about it that you are in a meeting, so you will see the entire meeting room with people sitting. They are also wearing their glasses in their home, but actually we can see their physical bodies, exact replica of what they look like, and then they will be talking exactly how they talk in the physical world. More engagement, and then I can point my fingers to the whiteboard. I can do some whiteboarding sessions. So that is number one. Second is hologram technology. So it will be a wearable technology like a ring or like a bracelet. We can come out and customers can choose whatever they want. They can wear that technology, and that, suppose this is a ring, so that will output a hologram, and I can remove this ring and I can place that anywhere, and that hologram will have that person talking to me physically in a 3D world, similar to what we see in sci-fi movies, some similar to that. And there will be sound. I can talk to him or her, and then we can talk about some meeting notes or some important stuff. That is number second. Third thing I'm talking about is uh, like why not we can build this technology in the in Google Home and Google Assistant. So wherever I am, so for example, um, what is the problem? The problem is we have engagement problem. So the important thing when we were in the office is that a person is used to sit with me. I used to go to him or her and ask answers from him or her directly, and I used to get answers in seconds. Right now, whenever we can talk to that person, like, hey Google, can you ping Eric and ask him this question, and then a message will go to Eric and Eric will respond through Google Voice. So it will be personal interaction, and then both the parties will be talking on one. So that's what I'm thinking about integrating with Google Assistant. uh, uh, and the fourth thing I'm talking about, a very like a moonshot solution, which is a chip. So a chip will be built inside the it will be implanted in the head of a person, and that chip will make the person like when the chip is implanted, the person can sleep, and then the person is transported to a different world, and that world will be exactly same as the how the office looks like, uh, and interact with the peers and everyone in the same world. And when it's done, coming back to the same environment and same physical world due to that chip. So entire memory is transferred to somewhere, some other world, and there's more physical interaction, similar to what we have seen in movies like Matrix and stuff. So those are four different solutions. Do you have any questions so far?
I do have a few, but we have like 3 minutes, so I think just keep going. I'll give you feedback at the end.
Yeah, I think I just want to prioritize one of these solutions based upon the time we have and the goal. So the time that we have is 2 years, and the goal is adoption, and our users are internal employees. So I think thinking from the innovation and Google history of impacting billions of people, I think all solution makes sense. But the most important, I think, I would like to prioritize that based upon reach and the engineering effort. So I would like to focus on mixed reality glasses, based upon Google already has technology of Google Glass. We have already proven that technology. I know there's some pros and cons with that technology. We can learn from that experience and build on top of this mixed reality glasses. Other competitors, like I know Apple, and in India we have a company called Geo. They are also working on this. Google invested a lot of money in Geo. So I think that's a way to go. Mixed reality glasses for the first release. But thinking 5 to 10 years, I think chip implanting in the person, that makes sense. It's a good technology. So short term and long term, I'm proposing two different solutions. So mixed reality because of the reach and the engineering effort, and there will be some trade-offs, as in what happens if the user is not available, or how we can transport and overlay that image of a person, and those are some. And what is that, if what happens if the internet is not working, if it's a delay, then people might stop using it. Those are some of the risks associated with my technology when we are building this. So we have to think about all the latency issues and all those things. And some people wear glasses, and then how this glass will overlay on top of that glasses, that's another problem. Last thing is matrix. As I mentioned initially, some of the matrix will be number of people buying our glasses. Second, how often they are using it. So number of hours spent per day, per week. I will be measuring that, um, base compared to Google Home, or sorry, Google Meet and other technology. So that will tell me the success rate of my product for my internal employees. So yeah, that's my final solution. I will stop here and will hear any feedback from your side.
Sounds awesome. Do you want to do quick personal feedback?
Yeah, I think overall I did decent. I should have done better job in pain pointing and user journey. I was not able to think. Now I'm thinking more about how a little bit more pain points, but I should have thought about that before. But yeah, these are, I should have done that better job. But solution wise, I think that's fine. Users adoption, I think those are fine as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I have some more detailed feedback for you, but yes, I think overall, let me start with three things I think were extremely positive. One is great structure. I felt like you were leading me through, in a very sensible fashion. I never got lost at any point about where you were. You're a very clear communicator. And then the last thing is that you frequently checked in with me, which I felt was great as well. And then I want to give you 4 pieces of constructive feedback here. So one is, I noticed that during clarification, I thought your questions were good, but I know that in repeating the sort of definition of the problem to me, you inserted the word software. So I would be, I mean, I caught it for you, but I think I would be careful about, adding constraints that didn't exist before. Maybe just writing down word for word what the interviewer says might help there. The second thing is that, I thought your user segments made sense, but I wasn't sure if you'd considered all the different types of employees at Google, right? So, you could have everyone from a janitor to someone in the cafeteria to, somebody in a design role that does design critiques and needs to give sort of feedback on different layouts, that type of thing, to engineering to a PM. They're all very different. So I think that just convincing me that you realize that and you've thought of that, I think is important. And maybe you can include that in your user segments. Be like, I can think of all these types of employees, and then maybe just picking one or two. You could say, somebody on I think for the sake of this question, let's just focus on someone on a product team. Google is largely an engineering company, and so this makes up a large portion of the employee base, something like that. But lead me through convincing me that you've thought about it all, and then lead me through, okay, why are we focusing on, say, a PM or a designer, that type of thing. The third thing I would say is be careful about the way you use the term user journey. I don't really think we effectively went through a start to finish user journey here. Mostly what happened in that section is you listed some pain points. So, I mean, I don't think you need to include a user journey in this discussion, but if you're not going to actually go through user journey, don't call it a user journey. I think that's important. The last thing is, I would say the solutions felt too sci-fi to me. I mean, you brought it back to a 2-year horizon, but you didn't leave yourself a lot of room to pick a solution that fits within a 2-year horizon. And actually, when we got to, hologram, I think that if the technology exists within even a 5-year horizon to just display a 3D looking hologram, I wouldn't assume that the interviewer has necessarily seen that. I mean, I can kind of imagine a technology I've seen that shows this, but I have a feeling that you may have seen this since you brought it up in my answer to the question. So, for something that, I mean, I think hologram is one example, but let's talk about the chip in the head. So why do you think that's within a 5-year horizon? Again, I mean, I can think of, Elon Musk's Neuralink, but even that, his demo literally was just showing, a correlation between, say, a pig's movement and the brain patterns. So I think that for things that are so sort of far-fetched and so kind of from that sci-fi world, if you think there's a chance the interviewer might suspect it's too far out there, then just anchor it and just say, look, I know this may sound far-fetched, but I've seen X, Y, and Z, something like that, to bring it back home. But the overall take was, this sounds like a sci-fi movie. I'm not sure, if you are thinking enough about what's practical. That's my thought.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense, man. Any suggestion on the solution? What do you, if you were answering this question, what solution you would have given?
Okay, so we had eventually focused on personal interaction. Now, what are the existing solutions? I would say, Zoom and Slack video, Microsoft Teams, that type of thing. So what's the problem with those? Well, those are really good for instant presence. So you want to have a meeting or something. But, in terms of, that feeling of personal interaction, I mean, maybe a physical device that sits there and you constantly see a feed of your coworkers working there, and you can call out someone by name, and then their face shows up big, and you have an instant meeting without actually like holding a meeting, that type of thing. I think you can make it a non-physical device where you have like essentially like a buddy list, maybe a grid of video streams that's constantly on the moment you sit down at your desk, and so you have some feeling of like, oh, Manish is out to lunch right now, or he's sitting right there, and again, I can maybe like click on one of the squares to instantly ask if you want to have a quick video chat, something like that. Again, to work on that feeling of presence. I mean, these are a couple ideas I thought of, one with a physical product, one with a digital product. There's probably other ones. I mean, I think that another one could be, if you want a simpler solution, maybe, you bring the idea of like walkie-talkies into this, right? So a walkie-talkie provides that sort of instant feel. You can have maybe a grid of, your coworkers, you can see their online status, and then, you can, if you're marked as available, maybe hold down that person's name and you can just say something. You're like, oh, hey, maybe do you have a minute for a question? And that person can hold down your button and say, yeah, let's jump on a call, something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that would solve that sort of feeling of presence and personal interaction. So these are just three ideas I thought of on that category.
Cool, man. That makes sense. Cool. Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you. Nice.